I'm very hoarse. Let me just jump right into it. And I might even take this down because this is kind of very raw looking. Just the way, and I'm not sure. I'm using my laptop. I have like a really nice Legion laptop, and I'm not sure how to. The camera's fine. It's dark, but I'm not sure if the microphone is working well. But here's the situation. This is not day one. This is like pre day one. Maybe this is minus day three, to day one. Day one will probably be on Monday. Today's Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm going to do some preliminary, kind of get you guys going into what this is going to be. This is going to be a real mastermind. I have everything laid out. I have all the books, and a little bit about me. As you go along, you learn a lot more about me. And I want to learn a lot more about you, and I want this to grow. So subscribe and like and share this with people, especially people in an affiliate game, the network marketing game, but anybody's welcome here. This is the mastermind that we've all been looking for, right? So like in New York City, where the Carnegie and, Napoleon Hill and all these, like a lot of their stuff was here in the city. I'm in the city. I'm in the northern part of the city. But to say all that, like, a lot of their masterminds in the beginning happened down there, and a lot of the interviews with Carnegie and Napoleon Hill. So I say all that to say, like, there's masterminds all over the city, where I live, and wherever you live in the world, they have masterminds. And I've been to some masterminds, and some of the masterminds, they want to keep the groups like 2 or 3 people, 10 people, 20 people. They don't really max it out too much. But they're based off of the real mastermind, which we're going to get into here in a second, right? So Think and Grow Rich. They're based off the real mastermind and the principles and the mechanical, and I'll probably repeat some of this tomorrow, but the mechanical step by step. And I'm like I'm not sure if I'm looking at how this camera works, so excuse me. I'm trying to look at the camera, but anyway, but basically it's a mechanical step by step process, right? An electrical step by step process to go from here to get to there, right? And all the material for that, how to run the group, how to create the group, all that stuff is what this is. We're going to get into. So it's not going to be Eddie going here, going blah, 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 blah. This has nothing to do with me. This is going to be all based off the literature. Okay. So it's going to be a legit structured. Like I said, I have all the books. I have all the material, and we're going to go step by step through the way that it's meant to be, that will change our lives. And if you don't want your life changed, it's like, well, in what way, right? So I remember I read a book that really struck me I think it was Russell Simmons from Run DMC. He's like a big meditator. Then he got in trouble like about 5 or 10 years ago with the Me Too movement and kind of disappeared. But I've always liked him. You know what I mean? He's an amazing entrepreneur, and, big time producer, Def Jam, blah, blah, blah. I think he's Def Jam. Pretty sure he is. I should know that. But the thing with Russell Simmons is he came out with a book called I think it was. I actually have the book somewhere. It might have been when I lived in Arizona, but I have the book. But it's called Get Rich or something like that. And you start reading the book, and you're like, as an entrepreneur, he lays it out like how to get rich. But how to get rich isn't just about financial means. It's about rich spiritually, physically, mentally, like happy, joyous, and free. So that's rich, truly, like you get up in the morning and you're juiced, like Anthony Robbins says, you're like juiced. And so many of us get up in the morning, we're like, yeah, my guy, yeah, you know what I mean? And maybe you don't, maybe you get up in the morning and you're juiced. But my point is, it doesn't matter what you are or how you are or what you're doing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is about working on what you need to work on, because we all know what we need to work on. We all know our lacks. And here's another very important thing that nobody talks about. This is kind of like a little next level stuff, and we're going to get into it because they talk about it in here, is these mental blocks. So we're born and we come into this world, right? And if you ever look at a newborn baby, I'll tell you a quick story. because I'm kind of rambling here and I don't want to do that. But this is just a kind of a rough thing here. So it's the beginning of the beginning. And maybe tomorrow I'll actually start breaking down from the book. You know, the little thing I wanted to read this morning was the mastermind creating a mighty third mind, you know, which is going to be us, right? Creating that together. By the way, I'm going to get it to my baby story in a second. Another thing we're going to do, so it's basically it's going to be based off the mastermind, setting the group up, and then having our group. And it's going to be unlimited. As many people come in here. We're going to be all working together every day. And it's about, I'm doing this at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York time. So wherever you are in the world, maybe you're going to catch us live, or maybe you're going to catch you're going to catch it. But this is going to be about, I want these to be about 15 or 20 minutes long, up to a half hour. And I want it to also be interactive. I want to get to a point where it's a real group. Okay. So where we're all kind of interacting with each other, if that makes sense. I think that's very, very important. And we're actually reading and stuff like that. I go to many groups in New York. Sorry, I got the fire engines going through here now. There's always a lot going on in New York City. Between it was crazy. Something happened. Anyway, one book so it's going to be based off this, but in like a few days, one book that I want you to get, and if you can't get it, I'll make a copy and I'll put a link together, going forward of the main parts of this book. But this is the book. Okay. I know it's reversed for you guys, and I apologize for that. And it's not going to be in perfect. Okay, it's not going to be perfect there. But it's called It Works by R.H.J., the famous little red book that makes your dreams come true. So that's the book. And actually, I'm going to end up buying a bunch of copies of this and giving them out to people at some point as this thing gets bigger. So definitely share this meeting with people. And again, this is going to be not me rambling in the beginning like now. It's going to be just a structured, we get in here, we all say what's up to each other, if the thing gets to hundreds or thousands of people, then obviously it's going to be like, real quick intros, as many as we can do within a minute or 2 minutes. And then we're going to be right into the material that we left off the day before. It's going to be Monday through Friday, right? And like I said, it's going to be about 20 minutes. But this is a book that I want you to get. So please pick up this book, or at least Google it, okay? I just read the name of it, because this book is going to have in it for you, if you haven't heard this book is Gamechanger. It's a few pages long, and it's basically going to give you how to set your goals up. So I want you to do that. I want you to, believe me, I have this structured. This is going to be very good. This mastermind is going to be incredible. But that book is going to give you the structure that you need to set your goals up, so that you can focus on what you need to focus on. Whatever project you're working on, whatever, opportunity that you're in, whatever it is, e-com, affiliate, crypto, whatever the game is that you're in, MLM, right? Right now, I just got into a new company that I'm promoting like crazy on my channel. And after this, I'm going to do a quick live on that. But that's me. You're more than welcome to join me. It's an amazing opportunity. But, so if you're looking for something, I have it for you, right? It has to do with gas, and it's going to save you money, and you can make an incredible side hustle by sharing it, because everybody needs it. The demand is crazy, and it works. I actually just got them in the mail. But it's not about that. It's about whatever you're working on, or if you're looking for something, whatever it is, or just working on yourself, right? So, I'm not going to be here pitching my stuff. It's just working on ourselves as a mastermind is, right? And then after, if that fancies you, you can join me on my live for my business opportunity, or you can run off and do your business opportunity, right? So hopefully that makes sense. Now, another book that we're going to get into relatively early, like in a week or so, is, and if you don't have this book, don't worry about it, but the 45-second presentation, and this is basically called like the that will change your life, the Don Filla, I think his name is, but this is basically called the napkin principles. Yeah, there he is, Don and Nancy. Hopefully Don is still around, but yeah, this is an amazing book. So I have a book that we're going to get into early on, an interview with Carnegie, that nobody knows about this book. I can't think of the name of it now because it's going to blow your mind. And it's a book that nobody talks about. And I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's an interview between Carnegie and Napoleon Hill, right? And it's the game changer because it breaks down. So what Think and Grow Rich is, right? And we're setting up the mastermind and, Think and Grow Rich. And actually the chapter that we're starting with today, and I'll get back to the baby thing, and I apologize. But this particular book that we're doing today is called The Magic. We're using this to set up the mastermind. It's all from Think and Grow Rich. It's called The Magic Ladder to Success. So it's all the same stuff. It just breaks down some of the mastermind stuff a little bit, kind of economical or efficiently for us, But it's the book that I'm using is Your Magic Power to Be Rich. So it's Napoleon Hill. So basically, this is all of his books. This is Think and Grow Rich, The Magic Ladder to Success, The Master Key to Riches, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, we're going to break down the mastermind here in a second. Just the first opening part of it. And we're going to get into it tomorrow, straight into it tomorrow. The nuts and bolts, like I mentioned. But we'll also, at some point later on, maybe in a year from now, we'll get into the Master Key, Charles Hennell, which is a whole other level of a book, right? But this book I'm talking about now, Think and Grow Rich, you think of that of like the surface, right? So we're going to learn so much. We're going to have this mastermind. But this interview that I'm yapping about kind of goes underneath the surface. And I'm the kind of guy, I love being underneath this. Maybe as a graffiti writer, so I spent a lot of my childhood in the New York City subway tunnels. I don't really know. But I've always been like either above the surface or below the surface. And that's where the good stuff is, right? That's where the seeds are. That's where the roots are. That's where everything takes growth, right? And, and the fruit is in the air, so to say. So above or below the surface, depending on how you look at it, right? So that book takes you below and gives you that interview, gives you the nuts and bolts of how to actually apply. Because so many people read Think and Grow Rich. Like I would say 80% of people, but they don't know how to apply it. They don't know how to actually put it into application, into action, right? So, I was at a training in Connecticut, in Stamford, probably 8 years ago. And I remember there was a big time speaker on stage, right? He's like, like a $10 million a year guy. And I think he was Korean American. But anyway, had like the Ferrari parked out front, legit dude, awesome dude. I got to meet him. But I say all that to say, I remember he was speaking on stage and he's like, you can read all the books, you can do it all, but are you putting it into action, And that struck me, like that was a moment in my life where I'm like, wow, that guy's right, so that's what this group is really about, this mass. So, I don't even know if anybody's going to watch this, but I really, really needed to do this for myself. And I hope that me doing this for myself, I'm doing this because I need you, right? Like I need you. I'm serious. Like I really need you because I'm nothing without you, and together, right, we're everything, whether it be two of us or three of us, or, we're one or more gathered in a room is where the magic happens. Or, if you believe in God, where God appears, or the power of the universal subconscious mind or the law of attraction, or the power of choice, right? Because every moment we have these choices. Are you making the right choices, the wrong choices? You know how to differentiate the choices, right? Anyway, so that book on Amazon goes through the interview, and there's 2 chapters in that book that we're going to read that Carnegie says, if you want to understand everything about how this all works, Think and Grow Rich and the nuts and bolts and how to actually apply it express style, there's 2 chapters you have to read. And he tells you in an interview, which is the interview with Carnegie, with Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill's, I'm going to read it here in about a week. So stay tuned. So make sure you subscribe and get in here. We're going to set up the mastermind here the next few days. We're going to get cozy, and we're going to jump into the little red book, and then we're going to start with that interview, because that is a Think and Grow Rich interview. And it's about the mastermind, but it's about really, like he basically says, Carnegie says, when you understand how to apply these two principles of Think and Grow Rich. It's like Think and Grow Rich has what, like 15, 17 principles, whatever they are, right? I'm not sure, but you have all these different principles, right? So what are they? Let me show you real quick. What are the principles right here? I know this is raw, guys. Raw is good though. It's like raw food. Watch, it doesn't give me the principles. Here it is. So you got the power of thought, you got desire, the starting point of all achievement, faith, you got autosuggestion, subconscious mind, specialized knowledge, personal experience, observations, imagination, workshop of the mind, which is the fifth step to riches, organized planning, the crystallization of desire into action, which is the sixth step, then decision, the mastery of procrastination, right? Persistence, the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. That's the eighth step. Then you got the power of the mastermind, which we're jumping into, and we're going to do some of that from Think and Grow Rich. This is Think and Grow Rich, but it's all the same. The power of the mastermind, the divine force, the mystery of sex transmutation, the subconscious mind, the connection link, the brain, the broadcast and receiving station, the sixth sense, the door to the temple of wisdom, the 13th step to riches, how to outwit the six ghosts of fear. And that's about clearing out. We got to get rid of those blocks, which we're going to get into, right? Because a lot of us, I know for me in my life, when you hear about my life story as we go forward, and I want to hear about you guys' life story and you girls and et cetera, et cetera. When I say guys, I mean everybody. It's just like a New York thing, but you know what I'm saying? Everybody. We should all get to know each other and be friends. But I definitely have blocks, in my subconscious mind that block me from certain things of success or whatever it is. And we're going to remove these in this mastermind. You might be like, what is this guy talking about? Trust me, we have these subconscious blocks that we don't even know exist, and that has to do with the baby. And I'm going to wrap this up. Anyway, so then you got the door to temple. Like I said, that's the 13th, how to outwit the six ghosts of fear. That's the clearing the brain for riches. And then the devil's workshop, the 17th, the basic of evil. Then you got magic ladder of success, the master key to riches, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Let me tell you the baby. You guys understand what's going on here. We're 21 minutes in. And again, this is going to be more like a 10 to 15 minute kind of read. We're going to read together. We're going to do all that stuff, and then we're going to talk about it like a mastermind. We're going to talk about it, and maybe we'll take it to a Zoom or we'll do it in chat. We'll figure it out, but I need you guys to help me. But I really do, because I want this to be interactive with all of us. So the baby. So when I probably was 20 or 21 or whatever, right? 20 plus years ago, I was on a little bit more than that. I was on don't tell nobody. You always got to think young in your brain. But I was on the subway train. I think it was like the 2 train or the 5 train or whatever. And I was coming out of like Manhattan back home up north here, to northern New York City. And so uptown, as we call it. So, I might have come out of Times Square, Grand, whatever it is. I'm on a subway and I'm sitting there, and it's like probably 7 o'clock at night. And I remember I'm riding this train, and I'll never forget it. And when I talk, I'm a writer. So sometimes I'll use the people that I actually see. And I think that's okay. We're all one. None of that matters. And if you guys have a problem with that, let me know. We are all one. It doesn't matter what skin you are, what color you are, what hair you have, how small you are, if you're 2 feet tall or 10 feet tall, if you're 100 pounds or 800 pounds, if you're green, I really don't care. Because that's just all surface stuff. Remember I talked about that's surface. You're a suitcase. This is a suitcase. This is Eddie's suitcase. It means nothing. This is my lower self, right? So when I talk stories sometimes, and if you guys have a problem with it, just let me know and I won't do this. I like to talk about the actual people that I see, like their features, because I think that's a beautiful thing, because we're all one. We're all the same. We're all spiritual beings. We're human beings, but really we're beings having a human experience, right? whether you believe in a spiritual or not. That's like a real thing. Actually, that's what this is all about, because Think and Grow Rich is a spiritual book. It's a magnetic force vibrating universe with light and all that other stuff. And we're going to get in transmutation. All that stuff is in here. That's the secret, right? The law of attraction, vibrating universe, dark, light, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff. So it's a real thing, okay? And, so if you're closed-minded to the spiritual principles, the spiritual aspects of all this stuff, just please have an open mind. Just don't judge it. Just be open to it. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't believe in it whatsoever, just look at the stars, or believe, who controls your breathing? Who controls your heart, right? Think about that. Or better yet, especially when we're sleeping and we're like turned off and we're in that other dimension or wherever we go when we sleep. I still think they don't know where we go, right? But I say all that to say, like, what was I saying there? Gosh, I just went like blank. But oh man, I was saying something. But intuition. We don't know they don't know, they meaning the rules of the world. We don't know where intuition comes from. I know where intuition comes from. I'm awake. I almost died from drinking and drugging many, many years ago. And that's a story you'll hear from me. I was dead. I literally woke up, and I'm lucky to be alive a few times. And I got charcoal. That's part of my story. It's why I write. I'm be putting a TV show together at some point in my life about that. It's literally like Breaking Bad, if you've seen that show. I'm a good person. I never did anything really bad or nothing like that. Really bad. I never really did. I'm just a good person. But that's just my story. I got into that game, and I was just trying to survive, right? And I ended up in situations that I've seen a lot in my life. That's my story, right? But I also woke up, and I know that intuition comes from a place that, we don't know where it comes from, but I know where it comes from. That's God speaking to you, or higher power, or universal subconscious mind, or the stuff that we're getting into with Carnegie, right? And Napoleon Hill. That's that other level of universal subconscious, whatever you want to call it, right? Superconscious, light conscious, whatever you want to call it. Again, magnetic consciousness, whatever that is. And the ancients knew about it. I'm Irish. I'm first generation American. I lived in Ireland as a kid. So, I'm a dual citizen in America. So the Irish culture was all their culture before Catholicism came there. The natives here in Turtle Island, as I like to call it, in America, were the same. Wherever you are in the world, Africa, India, Europe, South America, wherever, it doesn't matter. Wherever you are in the world, you have your tribe or your culture that you come from. It's kind of like the same thing. I'm really rambling here, Jesus. So I say all that to say that, so they all, in other words, the ancients, no matter where you are in the world, they all knew this. They all knew about this intuition, right? And we don't use it today. And that's part of this mastermind, is being able to use that. And that is higher power, universal conscious mind, God consciousness, whatever you want to call it. Intuition is the spiritual giving you your plan when you're clear enough, right? And that's what this whole removing the blocks, when you are clear enough through this mastermind, that there's no fear. It's removing the fear. There's only fear and there's love. That's it. There's nothing else. And love is the highest form of vibration. Love, 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 light. God is love. God is light, right? Anyway, so the bottom line is, and we're not going to get into God stuff here, but that's just, and that's actually in the Bible, right? God is love. God is light. So I say all that to say, intuition is your plan. You're getting that plan for whatever you want to call this extra dimensional power, right? We'll call it a power out there in the world. This universal power, whatever it is giving you this plan. That's intuition. And a lot of times, right in your life, you're like, oh my God, I know I got to do this. And then we fall off it and we get sidetracked. And then people are always coming at us and there's so much going on. And you get out, and you forget about it. but you knew that was the thing that you should be doing, or that was the plan you should take in whatever you were doing. So, this whole thing is unlocking that purpose in your life, the true purpose of why you are here on this planet for a short amount of time. Even if you live to 100, it's fast, man. It is fast. So, intuition is your plan, and then you take action on a plan. And then when you get off that, when you get sidetracked, it's about getting back on a plan and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that was a complete ramble there. But that is, what we're going to be. That's some of the nuts and bolts of the mastermind, right? Working on that stuff on another level so that it unlocks that stuff. Now, I'm on the train. The babe, this lady comes on. I said all that because I'm telling you about the story. It was, I think she was, I want to say she was either Ecuadorian or like Mexican. I wasn't sure, and it's a long time ago. But she was definitely like from South, like from Mexico or Ecuador or Honduras, like Spanish woman, a Spanish speaking woman. And she didn't speak English, right? And she got on a train and she had a little brand new born baby. Like she was literally a mom coming home. Her husband was probably working, whatever. I don't know. But I was on the train and this lady comes on and she's literally coming straight from the hospital. That's how she's getting home to her house or apartment, wherever she lives at that point, right? And this baby's brand new, born, just fresh to this earth. And she's got it, and she sits down right next to me, and she's got the baby in her hand. And she has like one or two other little kids with her, and they're like kind of running around. So I'm just sitting there minding my own business, like this on a subway, like, what I mean? She's right here on this side. And I just felt the presence of the baby. As crazy as that sounds. So I look at the baby, and the baby's eyes are looking right in my eyes, And it was one of those moments in my life where I'm like, it was like an awakening. It was just like we have these moments in our life, right, guys, girls, everybody? We have these moments in our life where we have these awakenings, right? So this was profound to me. I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this baby, and the baby's eyes are looking right at me, and it's like speaking to me. Like not like voices, obviously, or nothing weird, just speaking to me like I'm new here kind of thing. And I just knew, like, knowing is everything. KNOW. You'll learn that as we go along here. To know, to feel are some of the secrets to this stuff, right? So, I'm sitting there and I just knew there was something special in that moment. And I felt this baby was brand new to the world. And it was just like looking, and it was starting to soak everything in. And the subway trains can be crazy. You know what I'm saying? There's like a lot of stuff going on. And I'm kind of looking at the baby in the baby's eyes, and I'm like, don't pick up. I'm not talking. I'm like speaking with my eyes, like, don't pick up anything bad in the train. Don't, make sure you have this amazing, beautiful life and you're clear and focused and everything's amazing for you. Don't, because right away, as soon as we come into the world as a baby, we're coming from the spiritual realm. We're coming from that world, and we come into this world, and we're like, so we want to get back to that point. That's what a mastermind is about: getting rid of all the stuff that we've learned in our belief systems, getting rid of it all, and then getting rid of the blocks that we've picked up. Even that baby, this is my point, that baby's already learning stuff, is going right into the subconscious mind. They say like you develop between they like 1 and like 5 or whatever. That's because you learn all this stuff and you don't know it's in your subconscious mind, and that creates the kind of I call it the windshield washers. That creates your checks and balances for life. A lot of that stuff, your belief system is based off a lot of that stuff, right? I mean, that's why, there's certain parts of the world where it's like, like, we won't get into that. In certain parts of America and certain groups of people and certain families and certain whatever that, maybe they learn bad stuff. Maybe they learn good stuff. Maybe they learn rich stuff. Maybe But all this stuff is incredibly important. You know what I mean? So the bottom line is, wherever you come from, whatever part of the world, the bottom line is you at some point are out on your own and you're learning this stuff. And then even as you age, you're 5, 10, 15, 20, you learn these things get stuck back there, these blocks. For me, it was more like later on, from my drinking and drugging, where I got in trouble, and I just have a lot, and I was on probation. I ended up in jail, you know what I mean? And I basically was told, like, Eddie, you can't do this. You have to, like, and so I have these, like, in other words, you can't be a member of society in a certain way because you've been arrested and you have these things. And that was really painful for me. And, as much as I like to say some of that stuff is unlocked from me, some of it's still there, that blocks me, like, you're not good enough or whatever, right? So I'll be getting rid of that stuff. So I say all that to say, like, you come into this world and you learn all this stuff, and a lot of stuff is in your subconscious mind that you don't even know is there, right? I'm talking to you wherever you are in the world. So part of this process of going through this whole mastermind is getting rid of that stuff. And that's why when I had that moment with the baby, I'm like, wow, like, this baby's so brand new. It's pure. From my point of view, because I believe in God, I was just like, that's straight from God's, not that, but that baby is straight from God's world. Like, it was mind blowing to me. I'm like, wow, like, it was a moment in my life where I'll never forget. And I'm like, and that's where we go, right? If you believe in that, right? We're spiritual beings having a human experience. The human part of this is just like a vessel, like a container of water, like a glass. This is just a glass that is supporting the being within me, the spiritual being having this human experience, right? So, but we want to get rid of that stuff that is blocking us from having a true human experience, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, you guys that was a really big ramble right there. And I'm not going to do that in this. This is going to be straight material. This is kind of me just rambling and opening this up and kind of getting into some of the, backstory maybe, and some of, like, I don't know, just trying to like there's a garden, right? And it's kind of going to this garden and just kind of roughing it up. That's what this is. That's me yapping right here. Or a fish tank, and the fish tank looks clean enough, but it's not. It's not. And you go in there and you clean the fish tank, and then it's murky. So this is the murky stuff, right? And then the fish tank is clean, and then it's clear, and that's what we'll be working on, right? So that baby for me was an experience, like, wow, I need to get to a place where I'm pure, like that baby, that beautiful baby that came on a train that day in my life. I'll never forget it. Like, if I could get to a clear place, that's why I was telling the baby, like, don't learn anything, only learn good stuff. You know what I mean? But, oh, by the way, the mom noticed it. And the mom looked at me, and the mom just kind of smiled because she knew I was, like, a good-hearted person. So I talked to everybody, and I was just like, "Oh, your baby's beautiful," She's like, "Oh, thank you," you know what I mean? So it was really a cool moment, and the mom was really happy, and that's that. And life is weird. You have these experiences in life, and then you never see these or people anymore. And that was always a trip to me, like life. But especially living in a big city like New York, you see so many people in your life, even people you knew, and then you just never see them again, ever. Like, so it's crazy. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So that is kind of where, that's just me rambling about a lot of stuff, hopefully to kind of set a foundation of what this is going to be about. But again, this is going to be about not what I just went through with all my yapping, but it's going to be about getting into the material, getting into the book, like a mechanical step-by-step process. Okay. And then us discussing it for about 15, 20 minutes up to a half hour. That's it. That's all. And then working on what you need to work on in life. So here is just, and we're going to do this tomorrow. So the mastermind 2, creating a mighty third. So it's like the mastermind, then it says 2, creating a mighty third, right? So we're now ready to look at each other. Excuse me. We're now, this book is not written well, by the way. This is like a reprint, and they didn't do a great job. So anyway, it is okay. It's gonna be fine. We are now ready to look at another way we can gather, classify, and organize the useful knowledge that is essential for success. This is the alliance of 2 minds, which creates a third. We call this the mastermind. We first heard the term mastermind from one of the richest and most powerful men in history, Andrew Carnegie. It's an abstract principle that deals with the effect of one mind upon other minds. I am among those who believe that the mind is made up of the same energy that fills the universe. But since all minds are not the same, some minds clash the moment they come in contact with each other because there are varying degrees of affinity and antagonism. Some minds are so naturally adapted to help each other, love at first sight is the inevitability outcome of the contact. Well, that's cool. Who has not known such an experience? Yeah, we all know that experience. In other cases, minds are antagonistic and violent. Mutual dislike shows itself at the first meeting. These results occur without a word being spoken. And without the slightest signs of any usual reasons for love and hate, whatever the reason, there seems to be an actual chemical reaction, and the resultant vibrations have either a pleasant or unpleasant effect. The meeting of two minds is an effect that is obvious to even the casual observer. This effect must have a cause like any other, and it resides in a new field created by the meeting. There where the two minds and many minds, right, that we'll have here are rearranging themselves. Both states of mind are different from what they were prior to their meeting. That is the reaction that takes place in every instance, and it's a known fact, which gives us a starting point from which we may show what is meant by the term mastermind. A mastermind may be created through the bringing together or blending in spirit of perfect harmony of two or more minds. Out of this harmonious blending, the chemistry of the minds create a third mind, which may be appropriated and useful by one of or all in the individual minds. This mastermind will remain available as long as the friendly, harmonious alliance between the individual minds exists, which we'll have Monday through Friday every day, right? It will disintegrate, and all evidence of its existence disappear the moment the friendly alliance is broken. So yeah, we don't want to break a friendly alliance. Okay. The principle of the mind chemistry is the basis and cause of principle. Um, all the incidents of the soulmates meeting, the eternal triangles form divorce courts. Anyway, he goes into some stuff here, but we're going to get into like the actual developing of what this. I just want to kind of give you like a little base of what this is going to be, but we can get into the mind and money, the creating of the mastermind. That's what we're going to start doing tomorrow. The psychological revival of the meeting, the real meaning of education, so on and so forth. So we're going to go through some nuts and bolts, the relationship, the therapeutic value, blah, 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 blah. So we're going to get into all that stuff, like I said. And it's going to be incredible. We're going to actually start doing that tomorrow, straight through. There's going to be no rambling. So that's enough for me. This is my first live. I hope it wasn't horrific. I hope you can hear me. And I apologize if I went on too much. See, that's my stuff, right? My fear. You're not good enough there. You got to apologize. I got to work on that. Hopefully you're still here, right? Anyway, I love you, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. All right, we're going to do this. It's going to be life-changing. It's going to be the game changer. And, you're going to be able to bring in whatever you're working on and conquer it in a beautiful way where you create success and harmony and get to that next level that you've been wanting to get to, making your dreams a reality. That's what this is all about, right? And also being rich and happy and full and getting up and going to the beach and doing all these things that you want to do, but you're jammed up because there's too much going on, all these blocks and everyday life, which are blocks, right? And removing all that and just boom, just straight through where we think, boom, done. Wow. I just, in my case, like with the opportunity I'm working on, well, I just made $1,000 today, or whatever it is. Or, I just went for a hike today and I didn't think I could do it because I had too much going on, but I was able to clear it because I was clear and I got all that done in an hour instead of a day. And now we're good to go. So that is it. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. God bless. Eddie McGuire logging off.